Bet you didn't expect me to make any more of these, huh? It's that spooky time of year, and the FFL team is celebrated by releasing a 2-part Devblog special about some creepy and ghoulish things that are being implemented into FusionFall Legacy. I feel like I can provide a unique perspective with me actually working on the game as a developer, so without further ado, let's begin the spooktacular. To start out, everyone remembers that there were some really creepy monsters that infected the outskirts district in the suburbs, and what better way to show off the new differences between normal monsters and boss monsters than to take a look at some of these Halloween-themed creeps. These boss monsters are powered-up versions of the normal monsters, and their behavior depends on the monster's personality. Some like to roam in packs with groups of their henchmen, others like to hide out in remote locations, and some won't even spawn unless you get their attention by defeating enough of the monsters around them. These monsters will also have a bit of a learning curve while fighting, so don't expect to blast through them by holding down the mouse button. The Spooka boss has grown so much larger than a normal Spooka. It's a very infectious creature who seems to be soaked in fusion matter. The Jerk-o'-lantern boss has a similar situation, with its eyes growing into a Terminator-esque mask and becoming more green in color. And finally, the Graveworm boss is not only much physically larger, it has turned a black color due to all the time that it spends in the ground. Speaking of upgrades, let's take a look at the new and improved Batty Bloodsucker. He's gotten a complete overhaul on how he works compared to the original, and is quite the improvement. He now functions similar to Don Doom or Bad Max, following a set path and acting as a mini-boss of sorts. He'll send out swarms of bats to distract you, so be on your toes. He'll reward you and your friends with some very worthwhile items if you can beat him though, so attacking as a group is the best strategy. There are also some items you can obtain while going through Legacy that have been inspired by various Cartoon Network Halloween specials and other creepy episodes. For example, Grimm's Cloak is a shirt item. The Jack-o'-lantern head and the Boogie Mask from Billy and Mandy, and the Executioner hood from Foster's are all head items. And finally, the Abracadaver arm from the Powerpuff Girls is a melee weapon. And finally, Fusion Spawns now have a pumpkin variant. These will replace Fusion Spawns during the month of October. It's only a cosmetic change, so it doesn't change the stats of the monsters at all, it's just a fun little cosmetic change for the holidays. You could probably expect some more seasonal variants for other occasions as well. But that's only part 1. Part 2 was lovingly narrated by everyone's favorite foxy grandpa, Dracula. Dracula will be a fully fledged NPC in Eternal Vistas, unlike how he was a Halloween-only NPC in the original. He'll have several mission lines about the other various NPCs that are around his area, and he has a bone to pick with a certain fusion that we'll get into later. Alongside his brand new role in the story, Dracula gets a nano as well. This Blast-on Nano uses his power to aid you when fighting tough enemies around the world. He also has some pretty groovy dance moves. It's also worth mentioning that Dracula is a secondary nano, and deciding when you want to add him to your collection is completely up to you. Something even spookier is haunting Dracula, however. From his lair in the Boneyard, Fusion Dracula is commanding his troops to wreak havoc on the outskirts. Dracula doesn't seem to grasp the whole this guy is literally trying to destroy the part of the city that you live in. He's a bit more concerned with the fact that Fusion Dracula copied his look and has no groove. Something not necessarily about Dracula per se is that Fusions have received a few upgrades from the original game. They have glowing red eyes now instead of bright orange, which I think many fans would enjoy, and the Fusion matter texture has been updated to look a lot more like original official art. We think that Fusions look much more epic and menacing now thanks to these changes, and we hope you all enjoy them as well. Back on Dracula, we also showed off a few potential mission lines, as well as gave some hints as to which NPCs would be located in the areas around Eternal Vistas. He mentions he has an issue with Blue, as Blue seems to be pulling pranks on the sorry old guy, and won't let him have a turn on his game console. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Must have some pollen in the air or something. Anyway, he also mentions how some kid taught him how to get rich quick, and he's currently trying to monopolize the dog shampoo market and make a quick buck off some poor kid with a hair disorder over by the nuke plant. Oh yeah, he also wants a glass of water, but who could blame him? Hydration's important. Finally, to end this devlog off, we give you a classic scene from Billy and Mandy. We hope you guys enjoyed this quick Halloween update, and we thank you for your patience while waiting as we try our best to bring back games that meant so much to us back in the day. Stay tuned for more updates and all of an episode of the Incoming Transmission podcast in the next week or two about the Halloween updates. Be sure to subscribe to Will Tilt, and once again, thanks for watching and catch you later.